Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Hoopers Lounge with myself and Alex. Today, we're going to keep it nice and short and sweet, seeing as that it's Sunday, NFL Day. So we just have a couple things we want to talk about, and then we're going to do a crossover grid. Really simple, easy episode. So without further ado, we'll start with a little recap of the FIBA World Tournament that just finished up the last couple days with the U.S. not even getting a bronze medal, and a very disappointing end to their pretty exciting run, I would say. Germany ended up beating Serbia in the championship, where Canada beat the U.S. in the bronze medal third place game. Dylan Brooks absolutely embarrassed the U.S. in that game, having probably his career high. And just a real disappointing end to the U.S. And their run here.
Yeah, we saw the final with Germany beating Serbia by a score of 83-77. Top 5 player of all time, international Dennis Schroeder, dropped 28 points. And when Dennis Schroeder is playing for Germany, he's like Michael Jordan. You're not stopping him. He's the greatest player ever. More importantly, I'm sure what we care about is the result of the U.S., who ended up with a disappointing 4th place, losing to Germany in the semifinals, and then in the 3rd place bronze game, losing to Canada by a score of, I think it was an overtime or 2 overtime. It was like 127-118. Like you said, Dylan Brooks dropped 39 points. We're going to never hear at the end of that for the rest of his career. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also dropped 31. And this loaded Canada roster ended up securing a bronze medal. The U.S.'s best player this whole tournament was Anthony Edwards, who looks like a superstar in the making. The issue was, other than Anthony Edwards, we couldn't really get any consistent performances from anyone else. Our second best player is Austin Reeves, which, all due respect to Austin Reeves, great player, but our second best player on an international level should not be Austin Reeves. An undrafted rookie 2 years ago should not be the second best player on Team USA. But I think the big takeaway from this whole tournament is that the world's catching up to the U.S. It's not a shoo-in for the U.S. to win a gold medal anymore. We've seen the last 5 MVPs go to international players, with Embiid winning 1, Jokic winning 2, Giannis winning 2. And it's just showing the rest of the world is catching up to the U.S. in terms of basketball talent. We can't get away with putting our C team in anymore against these countries. If the U.S.'s goal is to win, we need to get our superstars back to playing for our country.
Yeah, I completely agree. And looking at the All-Star 5 that the FIBA came out with, only one American player is on there, and that is Anthony Edwards, like you mentioned. He was amazing. But the other 4 were Dennis Schroeder, who won MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, plays for Canada, Bogdanovich,
International Dennis Schroeder, top 5 player.
Yeah, Bogdan Bogdanovich, who played for Serbia, and Luka Doncic, who plays for Slovenia. So, I mean, one American out of the first team all FIBA, if you will, definitely means that the world is catching up. I think a lot of people knew that coming into this tournament, but with the NBA players, with the amount of talent they showcase,
this just proved it.
Yeah, that talent can no longer carry them as far as it used to, and it'll be interesting to see how the U.S. responds, because I have heard rumors of players like Steph and LeBron returning to Team USA next year. For the 2024 Olympics, which I think would be great for Team USA, obviously, but that's just a rumor right now. And Austin Reeves, to go off what have you said of Austin Reeves, he was good, but he should not have been the second best player. There's guys with much more talent than him on that roster.
I'm excited for the 2024 Olympics, though. With how global the game of basketball has become, there was a lot of superstars that didn't even play for the country. We didn't see Giannis for Greece. We didn't see Jokic for Serbia, and they still managed to get runners-up. And all the talent, all the American talent that didn't play. I mean, the 2024 Olympics is going to be competitive, even if we're able to get our A team in. There's so much star power out there for other countries, and we've never had an NBA era that has been this internationally star, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be very exciting. Another interesting storyline that came from this FIBA World Cup is the lack of success that the French national team had. France is a team that a lot of people thought were the biggest competition to the U.S., not just this year, but for the Olympics and for international basketball dominance. We saw them get out in the group stage, which was shocking. Yes, they didn't have Joel Embiid or Wemby, but a French team that people have been talking about as the biggest threat to the U.S. to get out in the group stage after a loss to Latvia without Porzingis, by the way. I mean, it's got to be disappointing for the French national basketball team.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some of the players that were on the team that lost in the group stage. I think Gobert played, right? I
It was
think Gobert,
Gobert played. Yeah, he lost virginity
yeah,
this World Cup. Congrats to
Fournier.
Gobert.
I think Fournier played.
Yeah, Fournier was in.
I'm trying to think of other NBA
There's some.
players that
I
were
think there's
in.
one NBA. I think Gershon Yabusele played. He was on the
Yeah,
Celtics for a couple of years. I don't think he's on in the
no,
NBA
he's a
anymore.
solid rotation
I
player
think
in
I
the
think he was
NBA,
on the French
but
team.
nothing much more than that.
Yeah. With that being said, I do expect France to compete when they get Victor and Embiid on the team for the Olympics. But nonetheless, still a very disappointing FIBA result
Yeah, I
for a team
agree.
that had aspirations to win it all.
I agree. They did have aspirations this year, especially with the U.S. taking a back seat to previous teams in recent memory, like the Dream Team, the Redeem Team, all those great Olympic teams that we've had that would literally run teams by 65 points. That's just not the case. And Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, who coached the U.S., said it's not 1992 anymore. The world's caught up, and I think he understands that more than anybody. As he's played basketball since that era, he's seen the change firsthand, and he understands that it's going to take some real change internally for the U.S. to catch back up to the rest of the world.
Looking ahead to the Olympics next year, besides the U.S., what teams are you excited to see? What teams do you think have a chance of winning?
Well, with Jokic, like you said, with Serbia and how well they did this year in FIBA, I think it'll be exciting to see them play. If Jokic suits up for the team, I think they'd have a lot of fun playing around Jokic, and they could be a wild card team. I'm interested to see if Germany can repeat their undefeated run they had in FIBA. Even if they don't win in the Olympics, I still would like to see them compete for a medal, because I feel like you need sustained dominance in international play to really be recognized. So it'll be interesting to see if Germany can keep this up, because I was very surprised to see how far they came. But the one team that I think it has the best chance to beat the U.S. in the Olympics is Canada. They have a stacked roster with amazing guard play, and I think if their roster is fully healthy and they bring their A team to the Olympics, I think they would probably be the biggest threat to the U.S.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with you on Canada being the biggest threat. I think a big three of Shea, Jamal Murray, and Andrew Wiggins would be a playoff team in the NBA. So in FIBA, where half the players you face are in EuroLeague or the Chinese league or some other basketball league, I think having that big three those big three NBA players on the team, that's going to come in.
Yeah.
That's going to be very useful for the Canadian national team. And we have the Dylan Brooks vintage game. If he keeps dropping 40 points a game, I don't know who's beating Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Canada as a big threat. Even though France was disappointing this FIBA tournament, I see them competing when they get Embiid, Victor in the roster. Luka's good enough to carry a team by himself, so you can never count out Slovenia. Giannis with Greece. I mean, there's so much star power out there for different countries. I've never been more excited for an international basketball competition.
I agree. There's a lot of excitement around this and the 2024 Olympics in particular. So only time will tell, who plays, who doesn't, what teams are good, what teams are not. But it's definitely something to keep your eye on if you enjoy basketball. And yeah, that's all I have on the topic of FIBA.
Yeah, with that being said, let's move on to some NBA news. There hasn't been a lot coming out in the past recent weeks, but we got a report today that says Steve Kerr does plan to start Chris Paul on the Warriors team. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage that, because that's going to be a very, very small lineup. I assume Looney's going to be coming off the bench, so their starting five is going to be Steph, Chris Paul, Clay, Dre, and Andrew Wiggins. It's overall a very small lineup. I know Warriors popularized small ball, but I mean, I don't know if that roster can hold up against the Embiids and Jokic's of the league.
Yeah, so the report came out a couple days ago on Thursday, to be exact, that Chris Paul's planning on playing 5-minute spurts with the starting unit, and then he'll come to the bench and resume play with the bench unit in the second quarter. So he's going to play the first half of the first quarter with the starters and then probably sit with the bench. So it seems like the lineup at the end of each half is probably going to be your normal starting five that you've been used to seeing out of Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, and Looney. And it seems like at the beginning of the games, they're going to try and just get CP3 going, get him acclimated to playing with the star players, see what works, see what doesn't. I don't mind, as a Warriors fan, I don't mind seeing him in the starting lineup, especially early on. See what, see if it works, see if that's a recipe for success. Because when we ran back in our championship season, that starting five, but instead of Chris Paul, we had Jordan Poole, and that five was amazing in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So if Chris Paul, if that works, I don't see why we wouldn't try it. I'm trying to read everything else. Mark Spears is the one who said this. He said, I do expect them to start CP3. I think they're going to try it. This isn't an opinion. This is just what I'm hearing. So from that, it sounds like they're going to give it a go the first couple weeks of the season. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But when you trade for a guy like Chris Paul trying to win championships, he needs playing time. So I don't hate the move. It just is unexpected, in my opinion.
And when he came to Golden State, he immediately claimed that he will not be okay with the bench rule. This might be the Warriors' way of trying to keep him happy and satisfied in Golden State, trying to keep that team chemistry all right, because that was a big issue we saw last year. And the team's clearly trying to avoid another mishap like that this year. So I think they're trying to keep their veteran star point guard happy, give him some run with the starting minutes, give him some run with Steph, Clay, and the Splash Bros. But at the end of the day, I think he knows and everyone knows that his job is to man the second unit, because that was a weakness of Golden State we saw last year when Steph was off the bench. They had trouble facilitating anything on offense. So I think that's the role Chris Paul is going to have to accept if he wants to win with this Warriors team. I think he knows that. I think the coaches know that. I think the fans know that. And whether or not he can put his ego aside and accept a primarily bench role, even if he is technically a starter, will determine the success of Golden State this season.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I love Chris Paul. I'm really glad we got him, but he needs to keep his ego in check this season, because I think he is definitely not deserving of a starting guard spot. That's just my opinion. He needs to run the second unit, and I hope his ego doesn't get in the way of his play this year, because we traded for him, like you said, to be the sixth man of this team. And if he needs to start over guys like Looney or, hell, even Clay at some points, I don't know if that'll sit right with me.
All right, some other NBA news. This actually just got announced a couple minutes ago. We got the return of one of the most popular players in the NBA, Boban Marjanovic, the 7'3" giant, best friend of Tobias Harris, and notable Goldfish sponsor, has re-signed with the Houston Rockets on a 1-year deal. I mean, he won't contribute much, but it's Boban. Everyone loves Boban, and I'm hyped to see him make some more Goldfish commercials with Tobias Harris. The extra cheddar Goldfish slaps, man.
Boban is a very interesting character, I would say, in the NBA. He always has a smile on his face. He's so much fun to watch. He is obviously at the end of his career. I do not expect much on a terrible, young, rebuilding Rockets team, but it'll be cool to see him sitting on the bench, having fun with his teammates, making commercials with Tobias Harris, his best friend. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's really pretty much it about that. You said a 1-year deal for him?
Yeah, 1-year deal with the Rockets. Probably a vet minimum. Probably not to contribute much. Maybe just be a mentor for the younger guys. Have some veteran leadership in there for a young rebuilding Rockets team.
Yeah. And then the last bit of news that we wanted to go over today.
Other than that,
was Luka Doncic has a lingering leg injury, which is not good for Dallas. They have come out, the organization has said that his leg injury is not okay and that he is continuing to play through it, which to me sounds like come the end of the season, his leg is going to basically have fallen off his body. And with a guy who does so much for that roster, it's going to be interesting to see what the load management strategy is for Luka Doncic throughout the course of this season. Dallas obviously needs to win games to get into the playoffs in a loaded Western Conference. So if they load manage Luka too much, they may lose those games. But if they don't, he may get hurt, and they may end up losing him anyway. So it'll be interesting what Jason Kidd and the coaching staff decide to do with Luka this year. Maybe they go out and sign a point guard, trade for one, mid-season to come off the bench or to start games that Luka is unavailable to play. But it'll be interesting to see how healthy he is, not only at the beginning of the season, but more importantly towards playoff time.
And I hope to see Luka healthy, man. He's one of the more exciting young players, if not the most exciting young player in the NBA. 24 years old and is already a top 5 player. And with the new rules for the awards, how the players have to play a minimum number of games, that's not looking too good for my MVP pick now that he's hurt and might have to sit out or load manage a couple games. That's kind of unfortunate in terms of my predictions. But, he was playing all right in FIBA through the leg injury. In Slovenia's last game, put up a double-double and led them to a win. So it doesn't seem to be affecting his play that much in terms of FIBA play. We'll have to see how that holds up in the NBA. If the injury lingers into the season or gets worse with the amount he has to do for Dallas' offense. Definitely a question mark that Dallas did not want to have coming into the season. But with looking how he did in FIBA, knocking on wood, that doesn't affect him that much in the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. Luka is such a fun player to watch, and it'd be a shame if he was not able to compete at his fullest potential this season. But injuries are scary. You got to take care of your body, and I hope he doesn't, push himself through too much. Get healthy, and be ready as soon as possible. Okay.
All right, with that being said, like we said, short episode, it's crunch time, and we're back with another NBA crossover puzzle. We went 9 for 9 last time, looking to get 2 in a row, and Max, you can do the honors. Yep. Pull it up. Let's see what we got.
This is the board for anybody watching, and I will read them out loud as usual, trying to redeem ourselves after a pathetic NFL crossover that was not shown in the last episode. But yeah, me and Alex know that we have some redeeming to do. So here we go. Up first, we have a player that's played for the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers.
Gary Payton II.
Good one. Gary Payton II. Lock that in. Next, easy. I don't even have to read it, but I will. Next is Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves. Andrew Wiggins. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
And next, we have Golden State.
There's a D'Angelo Russell, too, if you wanted to.
Yeah. Golden State Warriors and an NBA Slam Dunk contest participant. Jason Richardson.
Has Wiggins ever participated in it? Oh, we already said Wiggins, too.
We already used Wiggins, but...
Richardson.
Or,
I forgot about that. Part of the We Believe Warriors.
Or we could go with Juan Toscano Anderson.
Let's go Toscano Anderson. No one thinks about Toscano Anderson. We're going to be different.
All right, 3 for 3 on the Warriors.
That was a great under-the-radar pick. We like that. All
right,
you're a Warriors fan. I hope you're on 3 for 3.
Up next, we've got the Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trail Blazers.
Phoenix and Portland. Did Aaron Baines ever play for Portland?
Maybe. What about Alex Len? Did he ever play for Portland?
I don't think Len did. He went to Sacramento after he left Phoenix.
Okay, what about...
we'll come back to that. We'll come back. Okay.
Next up, Phoenix Suns and
I can't think of anyone else other than Aaron Baines.
Phoenix Suns, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Josh Okogie.
Good one.
Josh Okogie.
Okay. Next up, Phoenix Suns and NBA Slam Dunk Contest participant.
Who from Phoenix would have participated recently? It should not be this hard. Amari Stoudemire. Yeah,
There.
yeah. He played. He was with Phoenix for a point, right?
Yeah, he was.
He had to be in the slam dunk contest. Okay.
That's correct. Okay. Next, we need a Portland Trailblazers player that's had one triple double in their career.
Has Dame?
I don't know. I don't
Has Dame
know.
really never had a triple double? What about Nurkic? Has Nurkic ever had one? Has he ever had the assists?
I don't know. I was thinking we go with
Anthony
like
Simons, Shaden.
Clyde Drexler, like back in the day. But I don't know if he.
I can't confirm Clyde has though. Did Nick Batum? I know Nick Batum had a 5x5 game when he played with Portland. I don't know if he ever had a triple double.
What about LaMarcus Aldridge? He had to have had a triple double, right?
He never had the. I don't know if he had the assist.
They just need one triple double. I feel like Dame is the obvious guess, but
yeah, I feel like Dame's had to have a triple double, but I don't know about rebounding. Okay, someone from Portland had to have had a triple double this season.
This past
Let's
season?
think.
Yeah.
Who had a triple? Yes, every team had to have someone with a triple double. Triple doubles are so much more common than they were.
What about Jeremy Grant?
That could be a good one. That could be a good. He's had to have one. I feel like he's well rounded.
Nurkic is not a bad guess. I'm between Dame or Nurkic. Who do you want to go with?
Let's skip it. Come back to it. Skip it. And come back.
Up next is a
because I don't want to mess up the perfect run we have going so far.
Minnesota Timberwolves with a triple double.
Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Anderson.
I'm like 99% sure he's had a triple double.
He has. Okay, good job. Good job.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, good.
And now we need one triple double and an NBA Slam Dunk Contest participant. This is pretty easy. I feel like we should just go with Michael Jordan. He had to have had a triple double, right?
Probably. Probably.
If you're telling me
he's not my GOAT anymore.
If you're telling me he never had a triple double, he's not the GOAT. Okay, he has had a triple double.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. So we've got two left. We've got Phoenix Suns and Portland Trailblazers, and we've got one triple double Portland Trailblazers.
I feel like Baines has played for the Trailblazers. I feel like he has. I can't think of any other players that would play for Phoenix and Portland.
Has Landry Shamet played for the Trailblazers?
Nah, he was drafted by the Sixers, and they traded him to the Suns.
Yeah.
No, he's never.
Josh Hart, did he ever play for the Suns?
I want to say.
I don't think so.
No, he's played for the Knicks, Blazers.
You want to go?
I want to say Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines, I'm so down. We're so down. Alex, are you in your Duffy right now?
Aaron Baines, I pulled right up. No, he's not.
No, he didn't.
Who else did you play for? They're the Phoenix. That's gonna piss me off.
Okay, do you want to?
All right, we got to at least secure 8 for 9. We got to at least secure 8 for 9.
Let's try. I feel like we should try Dame. There's no way he hasn't had a triple double in his career.
Yeah,
there's
go
no
for it.
Way. There's no
go for
way.
it.
Okay, he has. We went 8 for 9. Dame has a triple double.
All right.
The correct answer.
If you know anyone that played for Fort,
it shows me the correct answer. It's Trevor Ariza.
Oh,
I feel like we would have never thought of that.
Yeah, when I think of Trevor Ariza, I think of Houston. I don't think of Phoenix or Portland.
He was the most popular answer for that
8
box.
for 9.
So,
if you guys know any other players that played for Phoenix and Portland, comment it below. Feel free to show us up. But yeah, that's all for the episode this Sunday. About to go watch a Jordan Love masterclass the second half. Max, good luck next week. CJ Stroud didn't look great. He didn't look terrible. We'll see how you guys do next week.
I watched the game. Quick side note, he looked good. He didn't look great, but he looked good. Against a top defense in the NFL, I'm happy with how he played. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, regardless, took the Yale against Baltimore.
Sure did.
We'll see how he does next week. Let's go watch Jordan Love get a dub against the Bears.
Good luck.
We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Yep, see you guys
Peace out.
Thursday. Peace.